What's up, guys? It's Meg, and it's that time of the week again where we get to talk about the latest episode of Fear the Walking Dead. Today we're talking about the season finale. Oh my gosh, it was such an intense, emotional episode last night. I couldn't have asked for a better ending to season number 1. What did you guys think of the episode? So let's get right into the review. So we see Mattis and Travis packing up the cars. They are loading up lots of food and water, and they're getting out of there. Now, they're packing to leave and they haven't noticed that Chris and Alicia are not there, because Chris and Alicia come back like, what's going on? Like, all surprised that they're packing up. So did they not think, okay, well, while we're packing the car, maybe we should go find our children? I just thought that was like a little side thing, like, what the heck, guys? So Daniel wants to kill the soldier that he tortured, and Travis is adamantly like, no, we're not killing him. He can help us. He's coming with us. And Madison says to him, which surprises him, he's riding in the truck with you. And I think he says something like, are you ashamed? Are you ashamed of our kids seeing them or seeing him, or something like that? Like, ashamed to admit to your kids what you did. And she tells him, you know, if it was Chris that was missing, wouldn't you do absolutely anything you could to get him back? And that is so true. You know, this is not Travis's kid that's been taken. It's her kid. And I think it's harder for him to see, you know, when you're a parent, you have that mindset, like, I need my kid, nothing else matters. I don't care who is in my way, you know, like, it doesn't matter. Your one focus is your child. And because Nick is not Travis's child, I think he is, you know, seeing it differently. And he freaking, this made me so mad. He lets the soldier go because he becomes soft, and he lets him go because he thinks it's the right thing to do, right? Well, we know that it came back to bite him. I absolutely loved this scene with Daniel and his plan coming together, and just the fact where he was like, you might want to save your ammunition, and then he just so casually like keeps walking, and then all these infected come up, and you know, the guards are freaking out and they storm the fence. It was so brilliant. Daniel was so badass. Like, I can't deal with how amazing that moment was and how awesome this character is. So while he has created this giant distraction, he meets the group back down in the under car parking area, and he finds out that Travis has let the guy go, and he says, it's on you. And little does he know that eventually it will come back to hurt Ophelia. So as the herd is attacking the fence, Strand and Nick are inside, and you know, the lights are flickering, and they see that, you know, they hear the gunshots, they see that everything is just going crazy. So they make their escape. I'm really liking Nick's character, and I'm really liking Strand, but also I'm a little bit skeptical of him, because he is definitely the type of guy that he will help you as long as it helps himself. And once it's not benefiting him anymore, he will not hesitate to let you go or let you die. You know, that's the kind of person I think that he is. So he's very smart, and he's very clever, and he knows, he's obviously very rich, he's gotten very far in his life, and he knows how to get what he wants. And I think that it's important to remember with this character that he has no emotional attachments to our group whatsoever. So yes, he has helped them, but it benefited him. One, because he was able to drive away with them, you know, and he said when he saved Nick's life, he didn't say he did it just to be a nice guy. He did it because it benefited him, because it put Nick in his debt. So they take Strand. Strand offers them the house, you know, takes him to the house, and he seems like a great guy, and I'm just not quite sure how to peg him. He has this awesome yacht, I should say, where, you know, that is going to be where our season 2 leads, but I'm just not 100% sure that he is a good guy. You know, I mean, there's such a fine line here between who's our good guy, who's our bad guys. But I'm interested to see where his character goes. I love the fact they're gonna be on a boat, but I don't want to talk about that yet. I want to do the rest of the review first and save that to the end. So I love where this is leading with his character, and he's very like well-spoken. His voice kind of annoys me because it's kind of like the sleazy, weird voice. But all in all, I like the character. I'm just worried that at some point, helping one of our group members is not going to benefit him, and he could easily care, you know, not care at all if one of our group dies or something, you know, if it's going to impact him. Because he said multiple times, he said help yourself first when him and Nick were leaving, and he didn't save anybody in the fence. He's like, you know, it's, you save yourself first, put yourself first, because they could prevent you from escaping. And then when he didn't kill the guy, and he's like, oh, you're well on your way. Like, he had no sympathy here. So just something to keep in mind for future episodes in season 2. I'm not 100% sure on him. But they escape, and they get themselves locked in a hallway. And such an intense scene. And I really thought that for a moment either Strand or Nick was going to die. And I thought, surely this can't be it for Nick, because he's such an awesome character. Like, I just could not imagine them killing him off so soon. And so, you know, of course we have one of those unbelievable, like, crazy saves, you know, where Madison and Travis and Daniel, they're all trying to bust down the door, and it's not working because it's key card access only. And then Liza at the very last minute comes running up to save the day. And it's one of those things where you're like, you know, that will never happen in real life, right? If you're ever in this position in real life, nobody's gonna save you like that. So while I like those scenes and they're great and they're intense, sometimes I'm like, they're not quite realistic, because, you know, the place is such a big place. I just find it a little bit hard to believe that right at that perfect timing, Liza would just come up and save the day. But nonetheless, I'm happy about it. I didn't want them to die, so I'm happy. I can't complain too much. Before Liza saves the day, we see that the evacuation is not coming for Dr. Exner and her patient. We don't see it happen, but it looks like she's going to shoot herself later when Liza and the group comes back and finds her there with all of her dead patients. And then when the walkers eventually break down the fence, we see other people getting bit, and we see this guy running into the helicopter blades, and it was so shocking. And then I realized, you know, I in my reaction video, I was like, did he do that on purpose? And I realized, you know, he did. And later at the end of the episode, when we see Liza, you know, ask Madison to shoot her, it really makes you think, what would you do if you got bit? How would you react? How would you feel? Would you be able to take your own life knowing what you'll become if you don't? I mean, it's such a crazy thing to think about. And so you see that in different aspects in this episode happening, and it just really makes you think what you would do, I guess, if that happened to you. After the group saves Nick and Strand, we see Daniel corner Liza and ask her what happened to Griselda, his wife. And the thing about Daniel is he's seen a lot in his life, and so not a lot affects him. And even when he finds out that his wife is dead, he doesn't show a lot of emotion. And I love this about this character is, you know, this is this hardened guy, and he's been through a lot in his life, and he's done a lot of things, and he's done a lot of bad things. And you have to close yourself off to that kind of emotion when you're performing these torture, like, you can't feel bad for people. And so he doesn't ever show a lot of emotion, but the sad and solemn look on his face when he finds out his wife is dead is just the saddest thing. And then when he's looking at Ophelia to gauge her sadness, and when they go up to the roof and they see all of the ashes and, you know, the tractor having scooped, you know, the ashes, and it's just so careless and thoughtless to this human life that has now passed on. And we see Daniel kind of bow his head, and he kind of has a sad look on his face, but he's constantly looking at Ophelia. And when she breaks down crying, he's just, oh, guy, that look is just, he's such a great actor. Because I'm just amazed by the emotion that someone can convey on screen just by giving a sad face, you know, without even crying. How his face affected me more than Ophelia crying, you know what I mean? That's great acting right there. Then the group gets back to Alicia and Chris in the carport, and we see the soldier come in, and this is the soldier that Travis let go. And you know, of course Daniel said, it's on you what will happen when he comes back, but it's not, because we see this guy. And so there's this crazy moment where this guy wants revenge. He wants revenge. He was tortured, and he, you know, it was awful, and he was let go, and he has literally followed them back for revenge. And he's got the gun on Daniel, but Ophelia is on the side, you know, and she's trying to talk him down, like, come on, don't do this, don't do this. And he's looking at Daniel, and he sees that Daniel keeps looking at Ophelia. He keeps glancing at Ophelia because, you know, and he's saying, like, stay back, stay back. And so rather than shoot Daniel, he shoots Ophelia. And I think there are two reasons for this. She lured him into a trap, basically, where then he was tortured. And so anything he thought he felt for her has gone out the window after that. Not to mention, he sees, you know, Daniel's the one who did this torture. And he sees that Daniel is trying to protect Ophelia, and he sees that Daniel keeps looking at her. So, you know, it obviously is going to hurt Daniel quite a bit more if he shoots Ophelia. And so that's what he does, and luckily she's okay. I was really worried for a second because you couldn't quite tell where she was hit, and I thought, oh my gosh, she's dead. She's probably dead. Luckily she's still alive. But the soldier gets his ass beat by Travis, who is just gone apeshit on him. And I think this is, you know, I think the reason why he was so brutal with this guy is this guy broke his trust. He trusted him and he let him go. He was trying to do the right thing by saving his life and letting him go rather than be killed by Daniel. And then this guy just comes back and does this anyways. And I really liked seeing Travis, I keep wanting to say Rick, Travis just go postal on this dude. So it was interesting to see Travis kind of break down there, and where he no longer does the right thing. You know, he's been this like moral compass of the group so far, where he's not wanted to hurt anyone, he's not wanted to kill any of the walkers. You know, he's had a really hard time dealing with all of this, and he's trying to maintain that morality and humanity that he's had. And then, you know, this happens and it just breaks him at that point, where he can't contain his anger. So the group is driving to Strand's house, and we find out that he has this like crazy awesome house on the coast, right next to the ocean. And we find out that he has a yacht. Abigail is a yacht. Now it just opens up so many possibilities. Like, they could do anything at this point, and what is going to happen to them while they're on the boat, and it's just awesome. So you think that the episode is ending on this high note, and you're like, yes, this is so great, what a great way to end it. And then we find out that Liza was bitten, and oh my gosh, it was just the saddest moment, because Madison follows Liza outside and she finds out that she's bit. And Liza asks her to do it, to shoot her. And she's like, don't ask me to do that. And Liza's like, well, you asked me to do that. Don't make Travis do it, it'll break him. And she is throwing Madison's words right back at her. And I thought it was a little funny where she said, you never really liked me that much anyways. It's like real talk. But all in all, it was so emotional, and Travis comes up and he doesn't understand what's going on, and he just doesn't want to think about that happening, and you know, he comes to terms with it and he kills her. And then we see him, you know, stumble down to the beach, and I loved the camera effects of this moment, because we hear the waves crashing into the sand, and we see kind of, we're looking at Travis's face, but we're almost seeing the world through his hazy eyes. So he's obviously, you know, he's crying, he's emotional, his world is spinning, tumbling upside down, and the camera effects that represented that were just amazing, because you really felt the world leaving you at that point. When you see him going through this, you really felt that loss. And they could have just had the camera on him while he's crying in the sand, but you wouldn't have felt the same. So hearing the music and hearing the waves crashing and seeing the blurriness of his, you know, of him, and then he collapses in the ground, and that moment when Madison came up and she just gripped onto him and hugged him, and he just cried into her, and they just held each other while the waves were crashing over them. Oh my gosh, that was like, it was so emotional, but it was so beautiful too, and it really shows you like the bond that they have. And you really see Travis broken, like he is devastated, and this is something that he never imagined having to do. And I can't wait to see how it affects Travis, how it affects Chris, how it affects their relationship together moving on into season 2. So a few final thoughts now that I've kind of reviewed everything that happened in this episode. I'd like to say that the only thing I was really disappointed about in this episode was they mentioned the humane termination that came with Cobalt, and I wish that our group had witnessed that, because it seems like they kind of just glossed over that, and we didn't get to see any of that. And I would have liked our group to be able to witness that, and I hope that they don't forget about that in season 2. I want them to see some kind of bomb dropped or something happen where they can witness this humane termination and they can further be devastated by what the government's willing to do to contain this. So I would have liked to see something like that. All in all though, I mean, this episode was amazing. I don't have any complaints about what actually was in the episode. I'm thrilled by it. It was emotional, intense, awesome, like crazy. Another thing to think about is in The Talking Dead, it was mentioned, in The Talking Dead, it was mentioned multiple times that Madison may have some kind of dark backstory, and that no one has asked the question, where is Madison from? Like, what state is she from? What's her back history? Because we hear that she has a Southern accent. And I was like, whoa, I would have thought Travis might have had some kind of dark backstory rather than Madison. So now I'm going to be really going into this season 2 trying to figure out what her story is, and I'm really thrilled about it. They made it sound like you know, whatever she went through growing up, and the fact that she also lost her husband, and even before that, that there might be something else that she went through wherever she lived before, has prepared her to be this survivor that she's becoming, because it seems like she's accepted this life a lot quicker than, say, Travis accepted it. So I'm really interested to see that. I can't wait until we start seeing previews for season 2 so that we can start delving into, you know, what's going to happen in her character a little bit more. And like I said earlier about the yacht, there are just so many opportunities and ways that we can go with this yacht situation, and how, you know, where are they going to go once they're on the yacht. And when you are on a yacht, even though it seems big, it's, you know, a confined space with, you know, so many people out in the middle of the ocean. You can't get away from each other. So are people going to turn on each other? I can't wait to see how Daniel will be affected by the loss of his wife and being stuck with Travis and all of them. I think that he seems like he's a tough guy, but that it might affect him more than we think. And then last but not least, this web series that if you guys haven't checked it out, there is a 1.5 minute video on AMC's YouTube channel for the very beginning of this On a Plane Fear the Walking Dead web series. And basically it's all new characters that we haven't seen before, and they're on a plane, and it's right at the beginning before everything, you know, before all the shit hits the fan. It's like right at the beginning. And one of the characters in this web series is going to be in season 2 of Fear the Walking Dead. So we can do a little detective sleuthing as we watch this web series and try and figure out who's going to be in season 2. So every week, I think every Sunday during the episode of The Walking Dead, we'll see the minute-long webisode, but also I think it's available on YouTube each week, so you can watch it. And I heard, I'm not 100% correct, but that there's going to be 16 episodes, one each week. Is that right? I'm not sure. But stay tuned for that. And I might start doing little mini reviews on that, because I watched it and I was really excited about it. I was really interested. Although the guy kind of looks like Tobias on there. He has that same like stupid haircut. So I'm kind of hoping that the kid is not the one who survives and is in season 2. Well, but maybe the plane crashes in the ocean and there's a survivor and they come up on the yacht and they find him. That would be kind of cool. Alright guys, this is a really long review, I am sure. Let me know what you guys thought in the comments below, and I will see you guys next week for the Walking Dead Season 6 reaction and, oh my gosh, review and predictions. I'm so excited, like way excited. Okay guys, I'll talk to you later. Bye.